Here we go. Incoterms 2020 has 11 Incoterm rules. Remember, we said it's a three-letter term. So all of them have a three-letter abbreviation. The 2010 version to 2020 version, let me clarify, all out of them. So 2010 also we had 11 Incoterm rules. 2020 also we have 11 Incoterm rules. So it's the same number. Out of the 11 Incoterm rules, 10 rules remains the same. Okay, so there is no change in the name. There could be a technical changes inside, but there is no change in the name. There's one rule which is changed in form of a nomenclature of the name. In 2010, we had a rule called DAT, delivered at terminal. Now that rule has been modified and we have a new name to it called DPU, delivered at place unloaded. So the DAT rule has been gone away, and in place of DAT you have DPU, that is delivered at place unloaded. Now as you can see, we have divided the rules into two segments. This is not just for the it looks and feels nice. There is if you see, there are 7 rules which are marked in a so-called brown color, and it is saying on the top any mode of transport. Effectively you can use these 7 rules for all 4 modes of transport, that is air, road, rail or sea. However, technically the 4 Incoterm rules FAS, FOB, CFR and CIF can only be used for sea or waterways. In spite of telling this and in spite of understanding this, I've seen many people using FOB for an air shipment or a CIF for an air shipment. I will try and explain you as we move further why it is technically incorrect to use a CFR or a CIF for a air or a rail shipment or a road shipment. Now, because we are dealing for goods, it is always pre-decided that the goods are going to move from the seller to the buyer. So the seller is going to be the beginning point and the buyer is going to be the end point. Now, if that being so, and we know there are 3 factors to it. Number 1, the risk or the whether the risk gets transferred, the obligations which the seller and the buyer have to do, and the cost. When you put all of these 3 together, and when you put 2 parameters, that is the seller and the buyer, and you arrange them from giving the seller the least obligations, the minimum obligation to the maximum obligation,